Hi guys, and welcome back to our channel. Today's video is slightly different. It's a video that is part of the Windrush generation celebrations, and we really wanted to speak to quite a few people about the Windrush and also finding more information about their organisation. So for instance, we were speaking to Aisha Johnston, and she's a Learning and Engagement Manager at Black Cultural Archives, also known as BCA. They had a good input with this book, especially with all the archives and all the information, which helped put this book together. So The Place for Me, Stories About the Windrush Generation. So yeah, we'll be catching up about her role at BCA and also the contribution that BCA did with this book, which is really great, all the archives and all the photography and like the facts, stuff like that. So 50p of the sales of this book will go to BCA, which is brilliant. It's available now, I think. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to get to know more about her role and also get to know more about the Windrush generation and any other exciting projects that she has.
We hope you enjoyed the video, but before you do that, make sure to like, subscribe and hit the notification button for any new content we post. Bye!
And thank you so much for joining me today. Let's get straight on to the questions. So the first one is, can you tell us about Black Cultural Archives and your role?
Sure. So thank you for having me today. Black Cultural Archives was established in 1981. Our founder was a gentleman called Len Garrison, who came from Jamaica. His family, his parents came before him, and then he came as a schoolboy in the 1950s. And he, as he grew up, he became very concerned about the situation he saw regarding young Black children who were often being excluded from schools and considered to be or labeled as educationally subnormal. And so he wanted to combat that. And so he started an initiative called the African and Caribbean Education Resource to help teachers to understand the background of these children more and to help the children themselves to understand something of their own history. So out of that was the beginning really of the collecting. And out of that became Black Cultural Archives, which is so much more than, well, education is always at the heart of what we do, but it became more than that in the sense that it was important for the founders to have evidence of the history of African people in the UK. So they collected objects and artifacts and anything they could find. And that's developed into the archive and learning centre we have today, where we have really exciting collections. Some of it's about Black dance, about music, about Windrush, religion, women's movements, and so on, and many, many fascinating topics that people can come to BCA and learn about. So I am the Learning and Engagement Manager, so I arrange for these things to happen. I welcome groups of, whether it's people come with their school or college, or whether they want to come as an informal group or individually. I will put on a talk or a seminar or a workshop for them, and we do a lot of online engagement as well.
Oh, it sounds amazing. We had a visit years ago, and I'm so glad that everything's finally opening up now so we can get to visit again, because you've got quite a few workshops and exhibitions happening at the moment, don't you? Including the Windrush generation, there's like online events. So yeah, it sounds really great. And so yeah, so we're just onto this beautiful book that has just recently been published, which is great. And it's The Place for Me, Stories About the Windrush Generation. And it has a collection of stories and fact files, so beautiful. How important is it for young readers to learn and enjoy these inspiring stories?
Oh, Davina, it's so important. I think, not everybody likes to read history, but I think when it's presented as stories and the stories of real people, it can be so much more appealing. I mean, this generation of people did so much for our country. They were real pioneers. They left the Caribbean with so much hope and so much bravery. And for many, life really wasn't easy when they came here, but they persevered. And I think that's an inspiration to all of us, whether or not our parents, whether or not we're children of parents who came here from another country, or our grandparents came here, or even if you're from your you're from the UK, but your parents may have come from a different town, a different city, or if you yourself have moved to a different school, there's always challenges that you're going to face going from one environment to another. And I think when you read about the history of what other people faced, it can really, be inspiring. And they are a generation whose stories must not be forgotten. And that's why you'll find within the book, between the 12 fictionalized stories, there'll be fact files. And these fact files will tell us about Britain after World War II, about the National Health Service, about housing and how difficult it was for people to find housing because of racism. We'll talk about employment and all of these different things, so we can get an understanding of how they contributed to the infrastructure of Britain, and as I said, through the NHS, through transport infrastructures, and a variety of professions that people got involved in. So I think it's a really exciting book. We're really happy to have that available in our bookstores and for people to come and enjoy. And I think although it says for ages 8 and up, I think it's enjoyable for all ages. I mean, I've seen children younger reading it. I'm enjoying it. So it's really one of those books that manages to cross across, to be intergenerational, really.
No, you're totally right. And as a family, we've read some of the stories as well together. And my grandma, she's passed away now, but she was part of that. She wasn't actually on the actual ship, but she came around that time. So it's just interesting to know the history behind it, whether you was part of that generation and how you got here. You're still part of that generation, you're still classed as that. So it's really nice to see it. It's a beautiful cover as well, and there's like lovely black and white like pictures and colored pictures inside, which is lovely as well, with the fact file.
That page, was there a reason why you opened this at that page in particular?
Yeah,
or was that random?
No, number one, my aunt, my grandma's sister, she was she was a sister in a Wicks Cross hospital, and it just reminded me she had that picture in her house, and it was just lovely. It's just a very like Caribbean, very, it's just so beautiful, like the black and white. Yeah. So yeah.
Do you know who that lady is?
No.
It's my mother.
Oh, amazing.
That's why I thought you'd opened it at that page on purpose, and I didn't remember if I told you or not.
Oh, how beautiful is that? Oh.
Yeah. So she came in 1960, and that photo was taken between 1961 and 1963, when she was working for a hospital in Bow.
This is so lovely. Oh.
She hasn't seen it yet. She hasn't.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Mother.
She knows, but she hasn't seen it.
Oh, this is beautiful.
And next to her is Sam King, the late Sam King.
Yeah. So this picture just definitely reminds me of my auntie. She was really proud of what she did. She loved her work. She worked really hard, and it's just nice. Yeah, a really great book. And it's lovely to know that a contribution of 50p from the sale of this book goes to Black Culture Archives as well. So that's really
right,
lovely.
Yes.
Really beautiful. Oh. So BCA recently shared selected winners for the Windrush Waves creative and celebration competition, which was last year, I'm assuming. What can we expect to find if we visit the centre? What kind of like submissions were there that we could find?
Yeah, so in our first floor learning centre, these paintings, or copies of the paintings, will be on display. It actually went on display last November, and then we went into lockdown the same week, so no one's had a chance to see them until now. So they're on the first floor, and there's also one of the artist did a video piece of herself and the whole process through which she created the art, so that's available to see as well. And within the same room we have our timeline of Black British history, and it's all completely free, so do please come. We're open Thursday to Saturday until 5 p.m.
That sounds great. Yeah, definitely going to make a visit. As we said, everyone's starting to slowly go out now and see some stuff. And the one thing we really miss as a family is the arts. That's the one thing we miss.
I know. Like, it really is. Yeah.
Like just going and seeing.
So absolutely, going and seeing artwork, and we've got so many talented young people in our communities, and there hasn't been obviously that opportunity for that, or that inspiration for them during lockdown to share. So I really hope as you and your family and others go and see it, it will inspire them to get back into their art, whether it's visual art they do, or whether it's music, or whether it's writing, just to get back into it. It's so important. It's so lovely to see that creativity.
Definitely. And so the last question, would BCA be holding any events to celebrate the National Windrush Day?
So on Windrush Day itself, we will be open from the afternoon, from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. We'll have a family trail available. So you just pick up a card, you walk around the building, you find the answers, you tick them off, you get them all right, you get a sticker at the end. So there'll be objects and information to look at. So bring your own pencil, don't forget. I'm sure we can give you one, but good to have your own. And again, because it was the situation we're in re-COVID, we didn't plan anything big, a big public event for Windrush Day itself. But the following Saturday, so Saturday the 26th, some of the authors from The Place for Me will be there at BCA reading. They'll be able to sign copies of the book, and we'll have some of our Windrush elders there as well to interact and answer people's questions. So do book if you'd like to come along. That would be, you can book through our website or our social media as well. And that should be a really great afternoon. That's from 11 until 4. It'll just be so nice to actually meet the authors in person. And to speak to some people who, while they wouldn't have come on the Windrush itself, but certainly came during that period of time that we consider to be within the Windrush generations, of people who came in the 1960s as well, right up to the end of the 60s. They'll be there too, with their fedoras on. I've asked them to wear the traditional fedora on their head so we can identify them. And yeah, it's just a great opportunity to again have that discussion between generations.
Yeah. I mean, the elder stories are just the best. Like when my gran was here, we would like talk about her childhood. They just have like the best stories, and it's so like lovely, especially with this book as well. The stories in there are like lovely. It feels like he was there. It's just wonderful, as you said, having like those real stories from the elders. But yeah, is there any other events happening online, or would that event be recorded if someone wasn't be able to go on a day, or?
Well, that's another thing. So on the day, although we're having live events on the 26th, one of the authors will also do an online event on the same day. So yeah, people can book on that if they're not able to come in person. And we normally do record the events as well.
Nice.
Yes. Thanks for reminding me of that.
Oh, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been really inspirational, lovely to know about your role as well, and also to know more about BCA as well, and what they stand for and what they've been doing for the community. It's really been great. But yeah, I just want to say thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.